Hello everyone, welcome to the Spooky Noodles Podcast. Today we'll be covering the story of Kuchisake-onna. From a distance, the spirit looks like any other woman. However, she is far from that. But anyways, what's so special about the woman who haunts Japan? Before we get into this episode, I'd highly recommend that you check out our episode on yokai if you have not already seen it. Yokai are a complicated entity, and having some knowledge about them would really help when covering specific examples of yokai such as Kuchisake-onna. It will be linked in the show notes. Kuchisake falls into the yurei subcategory of yokai. As a reminder, yokai, being a Japanese term, are difficult to describe in the English language, but they align closest to our definition of a supernatural being. This would include things such as spirits, demons, and monsters. Spirit yokai are considered to be yurei. The definition of yurei aligns quite well with the English ghost, so for the sake of simplicity, think of Kuchisake as a ghost. She is an incredibly tall Japanese woman who some have claimed to be as tall as 8 feet, although most accounts put her around 6 feet. She has black hair and pale skin. The most important thing to note about her is that she is absolutely stunning. She is often seen with a few accessories, the first being a mask that covers the lower portion of her face, and the second being some sort of bladed weapon. Under her mask is a massive Glasgow smile-type scar. Ominous indeed, but we'll get more into her true nature in a moment. As you may have guessed by this point, Kuchisake-onna exists solely in Japan. Unfortunately, she isn't tied to a strict region within the country. She is known to appear to those who are walking alone during nighttime. One thing I've neglected to mention is Kuchisake's other name, the slit-mouthed woman. Every interaction with her follows the same general path. The significance of her nickname is really demonstrated during interactions with her. If you manage to stumble into her presence, you must be ready for what can be likened to a quiz. She will start by asking you a simple question. Am I pretty? You must answer yes to this question unless you would like to be instantly killed by Kuchisake's weapon of choice. Now, you're on step 2. This time you can't say yes or no. She'll remove her mask and show off her mutilated face before asking if you're sure that she's beautiful. Once again, no results in a gruesome death. Unfortunately, yes also ends in a less than stellar result. Upon answering yes, she will carve a Glasgow smile into your face. To avoid any serious injury or even death, a few strategies can be implemented. The easiest is to simply say that you are running late. She will let you walk off in this scenario. Punctuality is really important in Japanese culture, and this seems to even translate over to yokai. The second easiest way to escape is by saying she looks average. This confuses her, which gives you time to run away. The least convenient method involves a little bit of luck. If you have some hard candies, congratulations, you'll be just fine. Gift her these candies and she'll be too distracted to harm you. As usual, origins of the spirit are debated, but the most interesting one is her being a samurai's adulterous wife. She supposedly spent a lot of time waiting for her husband to come home. Her husband was a samurai and he was constantly off at battle. Overcome by lust, she began to sleep with men around the town. Eventually, the samurai came home, and eventually he learned of his wife's promiscuity. As a punishment, he took his blade and sliced her face from mouth to ear. It is not clear if she died immediately or after some time. However, upon her death, she became a vengeful spirit. The story of the slit-mouthed woman began between the 17th and 19th centuries. One interesting thing to note is that it had a large resurgence during the 1970s. The rumor got so big during this time that adults began to walk children home from school out of fear that the slit-mouthed woman would appear. Kuchisake is a really significant character in Japanese culture. She has appeared in a ton of films, manga, anime, and games. I can't list all of the movies based on her, so you'll have to trust me on this one. She appears in manga such as, forgive me if this is a horrible pronunciation, Dan Da Dan, and Jujutsu Kaisen. She also makes an appearance as a boss in the game Ghostwire Tokyo. If you enjoyed this analysis, please consider sticking around for more. Next Sunday, we will be reviewing a tale that has been attached to an iconic image. Our sources are linked in the show notes. If you've got any suggestions or tips for our future episodes, please contact us at our email spookynoodlespod@gmail.com or at our Twitter @spookynoodles. Your feedback is greatly appreciated. Make sure to keep your taste for horror alive by watching the next episode of the Spooky Noodles on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or YouTube. Thank you for listening.